dead. This is horrific. They should be traumatized. Last week on the Poisonrana Patreon, we talked all about Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, in a brand new episode of Up Yours.
And they are in Times Square.
And it's okay. Again, one of them's lost their uncle, one's lost their dad. They've lost all of their friends at this point. They've lost a teacher.
Everyone is dead.
Everyone is dead. This is horrific. They should be traumatized. And then they're like, wow, New York City. They're looking around Times Square and it's, wow, isn't this magical? Look at the bright lights and the buildings.
All right, did you get a good little laugh about one of the shots here showing, because it's 1988 or 1989 whenever they filmed this, showing like some of the same billboards and stuff are still there and everything, but you got Batman 1989 coming soon on a big thing. Sparrow.
Oh, yeah.
Sparrow Italian Eatery for a New York slice.
Oh, yeah.
You think Jason comes out of there and he goes, huh, New York pizza's supposed to be good, and that's where he goes.
Get this show plus NXT retro reviews, wrestling reviews, movie reviews, and so much more over at patreon.com/poisonrana, and it's only $5, so what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you could never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Hello.
Had to do my top button up there.
Oh,
Too much taco meat was out.
Yeah. Oh, I just let it hang.
I usually do, but I felt like, professional.
We're on the post feed tonight.
That's right. Yeah,
Okay.
I can't get too loose.
I'll do mine up then as well.
No, you're good. You
Undo
look fine.
more?
Yeah,
There
no.
we go. Okay.
Now it's Austin Powers. Hello, Braden and Davie here. Welcome to Up Next.
My nipples hanging out. Actually,
Okay.
I'm doing one up.
Now we're
There we
getting, this is the stuff you get on the Patreon
Yeah.
usually. I'm giving it to you for free. Hello, welcome to Up Next. You found us on the Post Wrestling feed, postwrestling.com. And of course, we are
live on youtube.com/postwrestling. Hello, Postmarks. How are you doing?
Hello, Postmarks. It's Tuesday, September 17th, 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time, and we are here to talk about NXT because you know why. We are your NXT friends. And we'll always be your NXT friends as the waves turn and the tides come in, and NXT is the talk of the town, sort of, once again.
It is. We're on the road to CW. Is that what we're calling it?
We're on the road to the CBS Warner.
Yes.
That's what we're on to.
Very exciting.
Times are changing for NXT. We've gone from Black and Gold to 2.0 to...
We had the game show back in the day, didn't we?
Now we're on the CW starting just in a few weeks. So we're on the road to 1 million, as maybe WWE are looking to get on their debut.
The rating?
Feel like it. I feel like they're putting CM Punk on this to basically say, hey, you better watch this show. So they're loading up the first 2 weeks, at least on the road, which is going to be big.
Yeah, it looks like the second week that I thought they were really heavily pushing on this week's show. I know they've changed their location for the second show.
That's
they're
right.
not running as big an arena as they originally had in St. Louis. I think they're just outside St. Louis this time. Kind of maybe tickets not going so well for that one. I believe the Chicago one's doing okay. But yeah, it was interesting to see that they were starting to load up that second week this week.
Yeah, absolutely. We now know some things that we'll be getting for both those shows. So if you're thinking of traveling or whatever, it'll be some good shows coming up. I'm excited about this. I feel like NXT's definitely hit this bit of a stride lately with all sorts of different things being key elements, whether it's the TNA or bringing some people in and mixing in with the new crop and stuff. It's a fun show again. It's something I don't dread anymore. That there was some weeks where we went through the trenches, as we say here, but we still made it out. And the show's awesome, and you get a great look at like a snapshot of where the future of wrestling goes, because look what's on the main roster right now. All NXT.
I think Punk kind of summed it up perfectly on his promo today, and it's something that people do forget. It's like these people are in the infancy of their careers and going out on live TV every week, showcasing that. And it's why I've always loved this show. I've always loved seeing people who, might not be the finished product yet, but you can see the potential and see where they're going to be in like 5 years time or whatever. Like you're certainly seeing it constantly on the main roster. Like everyone on the main roster are NXT graduates now, pretty much. So and because of that, it does mean you get like these peaks and valleys in the quality, because I think you often we've had like the mass graduations, haven't we? And then you're left with people who aren't ready, and it requires people to step up. And we've seen that in the last, I'd say, year now, the 2.0 newbies who've really stepped up and become just fully established NXT talent now. Yeah,
and they're doing great. So it's like New Japan. They're in this new phase where they got to rebuild for a while. It's going to take them a whole lot longer than I think it took NXT to get back on track. But so we're going to chat all about that in a few weeks. That's when the CW thing happens. I believe that's in 2 weeks now, right?
Yes.
The Chicago show, and then the week after that. So we'll talk about stuff they've announced. Yes, CM Punk was on NXT tonight to talk about some stuff that definitely hypes up the next little while of NXT. So lots of main roster synergy within WWE, and I think it's a pretty good move. So we're going to chat all about that. But how you doing? What's going on?
Pretty good. Yeah. Still kind of recovering from TIFF. It was a very busy couple of weeks with the film festival going on at my bar. But got to enjoy a day off yesterday, which was much needed. Back in the grind today. But I'm pretty good. Yourself?
Excellent. It was. I woke up and social media told me that P. Diddy was arrested. So I guess.
Oh yeah.
I guess that's a good day.
Yeah.
For some people, I feel like he's not going to be behind bars for a long time, but.
I hope so. I mean, have you heard what's been going on in the UK with Hugh
Diddy?
Edwards?
Hugh
Edwards is was one of our top broadcasters, newsreaders.
Okay.
Think like the death of Princess Diana. He's the one who read that. All these major news events in the UK.
Right.
And he got caught for child pornography.
Ooh.
And got sentenced to basically 6 months probation. And everyone's like, no, come on.
That's fucked.
That's fucked. So yeah, let's hope.
Yeah, the Diddy thing
gets more than that.
Yeah, the Diddy thing I saw, potentially he's got to put up his mom's house, one of his houses, and 50 mil bail to get out, to be free.
Right.
At least while this stuff is going on, which is insane. 50 mil bail.
Yeah.
If that's legit true. That's just insane to me. But yeah. Do you think him and R. Kelly will make the best prison album of all time, potentially?
Would they be in the same one?
I feel like they'd get along. They're fucking freaks.
Yeah.
Getting up to bad, terrible shit, Diddy parties and all that.
Mm.
Yeah. So I saw that today. I was like, I didn't think he'd ever see.
So I guess because the last I heard was he fled.
Yeah, the last thing I heard, I haven't necessarily been following this, is that he was, I guess he had to have been tipped off. So he was halfway out the country when they raided his place.
What did he do? Fuck, I forgot I left something at home and just popped back.
That's the excuse.
They caught him?
I guess he had to come.
Back?
Then the footage came out. Remember, there's security stuff that was leaked, and that was pretty bad. Then he apologized. Yeah, it was a whole mess.
Fuck him.
Yeah. Everyone kind of knew he's kind of sus.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, so that was what's going on. I'm trying to think. It's the middle of September. It still feels like the summer right now, so that's
beautiful.
Good.
This last week.
I know we're gearing up for spooky season because we are very big fans of spooky season. I want to shout out some of our fans who gave us some love for our recent Jason Takes Manhattan review on our Patreon just from this past Friday the 13th. I hope you all celebrated well. But we decided to, well, it was picked by Justin, our family member, world patron, who selected this 8th installment in the Jason Friday the 13th series. And this one is a hoot. We had a lot of fun.
It's crazy to me. This is the 8th one, and it came out in 1989, which means there's way more of these films that come out.
We've reviewed quite a few, especially on our Patreon,
Yeah.
but this one was hilarious. Jason on a boat, and then maybe 15 to 20 minutes of Jason in Manhattan.
Yeah. Not enough Jason in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Jason gets to Manhattan.
We should say they've announced some things for Manhattan and the Manhattan area. They've announced Saturday night's main event, which is coming out
in Long Island.
Yeah. And you were telling me today you're in New York.
I'm in New York for one night, and it's that night.
Wow.
So I'm considering going.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. I've been looking at accommodation. I've got accommodation. I'm going home for a few weeks.
Mhm.
So I'm going via New York. I'm going to go via Full Gear.
Yeah.
And you're planning on coming too. So I'm spending 3 nights in New York. The cost of my accommodation for those 3 nights in November are the same as 1 night at the cheapest place I can find in December in New York. So I have a friend on Long Island.
Right.
I've looked where they live. They're not far from this arena. I'm hoping I can maybe do a ticket in exchange for a couch or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think I might go to the Saturday night's main event.
It's crazy that they brought this back. It's super cool. This is, I'm sure, going to be one of many that happen. I'm sure they're going to add like a big match to that to definitely make it feel good and special and everything. But the fact that they put it out with the commercial with the song Obsession is like, they've used that one through in the 80s and everything. So like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So
this is what a special on NBC
Peacock. Yeah. Right.
Peacock, right.
So pretty cool. And I imagine, again, we get stuff like this down the line where they do more and more, but yeah. So you're going to look at going to that,
which is
crazy.
Absolutely.
You're there that day. What are the odds of that? Like that they announced that. So pretty cool. If you are in the New York area and you're planning on going to Full Gear, let us know, because we might do some sort of hangout before the event. I know that's in quite a while away, but I am looking to book possibly later tonight, and you've booked your flight already. So definitely looking to do some fun stuff, and always enjoy meeting up some of our listeners. And Newark seemed to be a bit of a hub with people coming in from all over. So always a fun time to see people. So let us know.
Absolutely.
If you will be going there for that time. And let us know if you're going to NXT for the Chicago or St. Louis shows, because we'd love like some like live feedback and live comments and thoughts and stuff like that as well.
Jake from the Windy City in the room saying he's got his tickets ready for Chicago and he's pumped. So he'll be going there. We'll have to see if I don't know. Do we have listeners in the St. Louis area?
I don't even know where that is.
Missouri.
It's got an arch.
Does it?
Yeah.
Sick.
That's why Randy does this.
Oh, he is the same.
No, but you thought that could have been true, right?
Yeah, it could have been.
I think that's all that. I think I've driven through it, but like,
why? Where
I
were you
don't
going?
know. I have no idea. It just
you don't even drive.
No, like not me personally, but like as a kid, I think. Or
Okay.
Something. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I'm Canadian, so you can't blame me for having bad American geography. But
right.
I know where Orlando is. I know where good stuff is.
Cool. You know Orlando and good stuff.
So yeah, big changes coming to NXT, and that's pretty cool. We should tell our listeners the big changes that's happening to us.
Oh yeah.
You want to as there's a shootout going on outside or something. Oh my god.
Yeah. Is that the reason? Is that the reason, Braden?
There was another one right now.
Yeah.
What is okay, something's going on outside. Hopefully that's just a car. But yes, as NXT changes and moves to the CW network, there's big changes for the BDE, and you're gonna hear it here first. Come October 1st, the Brady is moving out of the BDE.
I know.
Pour one out.
Pour one out.
Yeah, you heard that right, folks. I am
getting married.
not quite jumping ahead there, but yeah, I've decided to I'm gonna move in with my girlfriend, and one of our friends is gonna be moving in with you. Shout out Golden Graham. But this won't change anything.
Yes.
We're gonna continue to do the podcasts
People are upset.
I knew we would. I knew this would happen. But Davie, you've offered me the couch, the blow up, basically the doghouse if I ever need it to come back and visit the BDE.
I mean, I imagine those of you watching now, I imagine quite often we'll be doing this still here at the BDE. Get together, have our little Tuesday hang. It's been a tradition for 6-7 years
since
now
I've known you at this point.
Yeah, so we'll still be hanging out. Even some of the Poisonrana on Sunday shows might do it in person. But yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense. You two have been together a long time, so yeah, I think it's about time.
Yeah,
boys all grown up, and
yeah, I mean, pulling the curtain back, definitely half the week I'm usually there and going back and forth, and I do like coming here for the pod. We have our little set here in our apartment, and our apartment is pretty sweet, so I know that it'll be in good hands, and I'll be able to come visit and still have boys' nights and sleep on your couch whenever I need to.
Changing the locks as soon as you leave.
Yeah, that's why the door was fidgeting the other day. You were testing that out the other day. Yeah, I have a spare key, so.
For now.
But yes, so that really won't affect anything. We're still going to be doing our podcasts as scheduled. So yes, Tuesday nights will still be up next and everything. So nothing like that will change.
And you can support us in these moves, in these evolving times by signing up to patreon.com/poisonrana, where we have for about 5+ years now and going and still going. After this move, we'll be putting out so much content. We've got like 600 odd shows on there for you to enjoy and listen to, from random movie reviews. You mentioned we do a bunch of horror reviews in October, to retro wrestling pay-per-view reviews. We do our show Was Next, where we've been going right back to the beginning of NXT from 2012. We're currently post WrestleMania 2014 era of NXT. Yeah, we have a whole lot of content for you to enjoy there, and it's only $5 per month.
Yes, absolutely. If you want to buy us a parting gift, a celebratory gift, buy yourself a gift that keeps on giving. Patreon.com/poisonrana. Become a friend. $5, you get access to the Jason Takes Manhattan, the ECW One Night Stand, all the What's Next, all the movies, all the wrestling reviews, everything up there. And just because we're so nice, patrons, boy, do we have a show for you this week. You know, we've kind of, I don't want to say slacking on the hey, let's plan out stuff, because we've decided to be more free-flowing of our brains and our ideas for fun podcasts. And we have decided that tomorrow we are recording a best match ever, Motor City Machine Guns, or known to some, the Murder City Machine Guns. We will be talking about Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, and all the best this tag team has to offer. Yes, there's hype about them coming to WWE, possibly NXT, and we thought, why not look at their catalog? Maybe some of you aren't familiar with them, so we've curated this list that you went together and put up with matches with the Briscoes, Steen and Generico, the Bucks, or should I say Jeremy and Max?
Jeremy and Max Buck.
Yeah.
Age of the Fallen.
Jimmy Jacobs, Seth Rollins, Tyler Black. Yeah.
Apollo 55. Is that the name? Yeah. Finn Balor and Prince Devitt and Taguchi. We got a great list there, and it seems like it's a done deal. It sounds like Machine Guns are WWE bound and probably NXT bound. And we thought it'd be a great time to go and look at their career. And you said, if you're not familiar with them, we've got a great playlist for you to enjoy.
With links.
The feedback is up on our Facebook group and on our Patreon. And you can check it out and go. All these matches are readily available on the internet. Yeah,
so get familiar with the Bucks and then listen to us chat about not the Bucks. Sorry, not the Bucks. Yes, they were on my mind. We will be talking about them on this show. But yeah, get familiar with the Guns. We're going to chat all about them. This will be out this week over on our patrons, for all patrons there. So there you go. Another awesome podcast coming your way. So can't wait to talk about that. That's how you can support us. You can support us by going to our Patreon. You can also go to chop-tees.com/poisonrana. Buy yourself a hat, a snapback, a hoodie, a t-shirt, whatever it may be. We got stuff coming and going all the time. That's how you can support us, by rocking some of our froggy style wear that we got on our website, and appreciate the love as always. So yeah, go buy a podcast on our Patreon, go buy a t-shirt, and it all helps out your favorite independent podcasters.
And if you're not sure and you want to hear more of us and be like, I don't know if I want to take the plunge and spend those $5. Maybe I need to hear a few more things to be sure before I sign up. We do have a free feed, Poison Rana. We are on Post Wrestling right now, but go and subscribe to our Poison Rana podcast feed, where we do a weekly, usually every Sunday, show talking about all the news, everything we may have that's happened in that past week in pro wrestling. Going deep into like AEW, Dynamite, SmackDown, New Japan, just general wrestling news that's going on. We do that every Sunday. And then we have a bunch of other shows on that feed as well, like What Up, Doe, where our good friends Ceno Evil, John Cena, and B Detroit talk about kind of that month in wrestling, pop culture, hip hop, video games, movies, all the lot. I've got about 10 minutes left of last week's show. Great stuff. I always enjoy listening to those guys. We've got that on that feed. We've got Detox on that feed. I see Jordan Goodman's in the room right now. How would you describe Detox to our listeners who may not be aware with what it is?
Poop jokes.
Okay.
That's it.
Cool. We've got Detox and then Eagles Don't Hunt Flies, where
Probably have some poop jokes on that one too.
Martin Bushby, Dickie Bird, and Brandon from New Jersey talk all about the career of a certain John Moxley. And they've recently just released their episode of The Breakup of the Shield. So all those shows on that feed. So go give it a listen. And next week, with it being Halloween, we will be keeping up with one of our
next week is Halloween?
Next month, one of our very oldest traditions as we continue our journey through all the Halloween films. And this year, we're up to Halloween H2O.
Woo, it's going to be a fun one. October is going to be crazy. We do have some good podcasts coming out in October for you horror heads out there. Oh boy. Yeah, we got some things cooking. I see Jake in the chat saying, hey, what about a best match ever Saturday night's main event? Jake, you are reading my mind because I did think of that with the announcement.
It's not a bad idea.
And then I also thought to up the ante is I may even invite our friend Boris from Saturday night's main event to come on to Sunday night's main event. May it rest in peace. To maybe come on and join us.
That would be a great idea.
Yeah, why not? We'll definitely have to discuss it, but we love you, Boris. So yeah, lots and lots of shows. Poisonrana.ca. Follow us on all the socials and everything for updates, and follow the Insta because we like to post silly stories sometimes and everything. But yeah, lots and lots of fun stuff. We do a lot of podcasts, a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Oh boy. Anyways, let's talk about some NXT from September 17th, 2024.
All right, let's get into it. We start off with Ava. Ava's in the ring, the general manager of NXT.
Oh boy.
And she starts with a huge announcement. Now, I said they started loading the deck for that St. Louis show. Well, she really loaded it because Sexy Red is coming back to St. Louis.
Wow, that's
huge. I gotta go. Yeah.
You're gonna switch flights.
I'm going to see Sexy Red. Also says that not only will Randy Orton be on the show, but he'll be competing in an NXT ring for the first time ever.
If we remember, Sexy Red did bring up that she liked Randy Orton. She said she's gonna RKO someone out of nowhere or something.
Okay.
She did say that like on NXT before. She had mentioned that. So foreshadowing.
And then says in Chicago, CM Punk will be there. We'll have Wes and Zachary Wentz in a street fight, Miz TV, Roxanne versus Julia, and Ethan Page versus Trick Williams. And she's kicking things off tonight with a contract signing and introduces the challenger for the NXT title, Trick Williams, who tells us to, check it and get to business, and tells us that to not let his shiny vest he's wearing fool you because he's still in pain from his last man standing match against Pete Dunne from last week, and that Pete Dunne is still a butch. Pete Dunne hot off his win against Sheamus last night using the cricket bat.
Yeah, the cricket bat. Very Shaun of the Dead there. I hope Pete's eye is okay since last week.
It looked nasty.
It did look better this week, though.
He says, I am still the last man standing and will make more history in Chicago when I beat Page for that title, and everyone will be chanting, whoop that trick. So the champion, Ethan Page, comes out and asks the crowd, why did you stop chanting? Come on. I love it when you do that whoop that trick. And he starts mocking Booker T. Doing the what's, the huh.
This was pretty good. Yeah, him doing what the crowd seemed to have done in the last little while, especially when Trick was like winning the title and champ and stuff. The crowd at some points, I know when we went to Stand and Deliver, we were all doing the Booker ad-libs when the rest of the crowd were doing that. So him bringing that up is pretty great. But then they also sang something else at him.
Yes, they then sing Ethan sucks, believe in Joe. Ethan put on some clothes as he's wearing a lovely green suit.
He lets us know. He says, I'm dressed like $1,000,000, so don't you dare sing that at me, which is very, very valid.
I'm shocked this song is still going.
It sounds like another real song I know. Like, dun, dun, dun. You say yes, you say no. It's kind of put on some gold. I don't know. Yeah. Sort of the Beatles.
And Paige says that he is Trick Williams' kryptonite, and he has the receipts to back it up. And the NXT championship is the biggest receipt. Trick says that he stole that championship, and this pisses off Ethan, who says, I didn't steal anything. I earned this. I won this. And you want to know what I remember the most? The moment I won this was everyone's facial expressions when the ref counted 3. It was shock and surprise from everyone, including you. I didn't steal nothing. And October 1st, you will have the look of disappointment. And you think you have figured out, but you don't. You think you'll have me figured out, but you don't, because they'll still be chanting NX me. And
do they chant that?
No. Trick says he ain't feeling NX me. And he says in Chicago, the NX me era is over and everyone will be chanting NX. And Paige kicks him in the gut, stopping him from finishing, I guess, NX Trick or something.
Right.
And hits the ego's edge through the table and leaves. And Vic Joseph makes a point that the contract was not signed.
Yeah. I mean, pretty nice looking powerbomb there. Razor's edge through the table. I did like that. I liked that Ethan Page hasn't really had to do much to get the crowd to like do a lot. It's been everyone else who's gotten him like over and interactive with the crowd, which he's very good at naturally. Like whether he thought ahead that they might still be singing this song or not, like he had lines ready for when they hit him with certain things. So he definitely shows that like he is still one of the, I still feel like he hasn't had a full, like, I don't want to say like pipe bomb moment, but like a proper, like amazing stand-up promo in WWE.
He's been a little bit too comedic.
Yeah.
Coming in. I think he's great. I think he's a good promo. And you're right. Everyone's like enjoying getting on him, but it's not like he's had a vice grip on this title.
Yeah.
And I do see it going back on Trick.
Me too.
And I think it just feels a little, I still think it would be better if he won that title on his first night. And all he's really had is an Oro Mensah feud since then.
Yeah.
And which again was a bit of comedy. It was the roll-ups out of nowhere and that kind of thing. So I kind of feel it would benefit Trick winning this if Ethan had a bit of a longer, more serious reign. And maybe screwing over some more like top baby faces.
Yeah. We just don't have any.
We don't, especially since Wes turned.
Yeah.
So yes, no one signed the contract. I also noticed the commentary were back in suits this week.
Oh.
You know, they've been casual Tuesday.
Since Booker joined, they were very casual Tuesday.
You know, Vic's normally in his leather jacket and t-shirt.
They were casual TGIF Friday.
Suits. They're getting ready for the CW.
They're looking good.
Yeah, they're looking good.
They're standing on business. They're looking proper. I also enjoyed the Photoshop error of Ethan Page holding the title, but it's clearly Trick's hand with the title over the graphic there.
We then go back to last week where we catch up with Hammerstone, who's defeated by Obafemi, and D'Angelo is pissed at him. He says, look, when I give someone an envelope of cash, I expect them to handle it and get the job done. So you're going to go back to Ava and you're going to ask for a rematch against Oba, and this time you're going to take care of it. And Hammerstone just says, no, I ain't doing that. And how about you take care of Oba? And next week, I'll take care of you. So we've got Hammerstone and D'Angelo booked for tonight.
Yeah. So, I mean, he paid you to do a job. Technically, Mr. Stone, sorry, that's the other guy, Mr. Hammerstone, sir, you didn't do the job. Booker will bring this up later on.
Talking about doing paying someone to do the jobs. I watched that What Jennifer Did this week.
Is
Have
that
you seen
a
it?
Megan Fox movie?
No, it's from Markham. It's a
Okay.
documentary about a girl who basically paid someone to murder her parents.
Oh, jeez.
It's fucked up. And she paid him like not a whole lot of money.
Did they get the job done?
One of them, the dad survived.
More than Hammerstone
I'm
did.
spoiling everything.
Yeah. I'll never watch it now.
Pretty good.
Okay.
It's in Markham. Close.
That's close to Toronto for
Yeah,
those wondering where
scary.
Markham is.
Yeah.
Shout out the Markham Fair.
We see Ava with Stevie Turner and Robert Stone, and they're just bickering away when Javon Evans comes up to them and says he wants to shoot his shot and be on that St. Louis show. And we'll have more of that a little bit later.
A lot more of that. Right as they announced that, I was like, who would I like them to see? And I was like, well, someone else has already announced on the show, and I thought of a certain move that both of them do, but we'll get to that.
We go to our next match, which is Tatum, Paxley, and Lyra Valkyria taking on Wendy, Choo, and Rosemary. The match starts with Tatum and Rosemary just screaming at each other. Rosemary backs Tatum in the corner to tag in Wendy, and they start trading roll-ups. There's a body scissors from Paxley where she's like rolling her around the ring, almost like a gator roll. And then a crossbody into the corner, but Tatum holds onto the ropes, trapping Wendy, allowing Lyra to tag in, which I thought looked pretty nice. We get double drop kicks from Lyra and Tatum through the ropes. And after the break, we see that Rosemary and Wendy are back in control, isolating Tatum. They deliver a clothesline German combo, and then Lyra gets tagged in and hits one move and immediately tags Tatum. I hate this. When someone's being beaten down for the longest time, they tag out and it's like 5 seconds, their energy bars like right back up. We get a backbreaker leg drop combo from Tatum and Lyra for a 2. And Booker says, she hit her right in the medulla.
The medulla oblongata? It's from Waterboy. What is it? Medulla oblongata.
Okay.
It is the connection between the brainstem and the spinal cord.
Oof.
So Booker T was in fact correct.
Right.
She got it right in the medulla oblongata.
And then Lyra climbs the top and delivers a guillotine leg drop. Like
this was cool.
John Cena-esque.
Yeah, famouser. I liked Vic was like, watch her soar, which she's the bird lady. Yeah. She'll always be the bird lady to me, but like it looks like she's a bird with this move, like hitting you right in the back of the head. It's
better than the splash she was doing.
Oh, way cooler. Yeah.
So drives it across the back of the neck of Rosemary and picks up the win.
Medulla oblongata. You know what? This was better than I thought it was going to be. Shout out Wendy off her match with Jordan Grace at TNA this past week as well. So she's kind of getting some shine, and I think it showed. Like we got some cool moves out of all of them in the limited time, because I think when I saw that we were getting this match as it started, I was kind of like, oh, okay, we got to get through. But then they were hitting some cool stuff, like even Wendy, even Tatum and Rosemary. Like there's like exploders in there, and that other leg drop combo as well. So better than I thought it was going to be. And like I'm not still into this Wendy Rosemary gimmick of whatever it is, but the wrestling improved and it gave something for Tatum to do, and she's improved. Lyra, obviously, she's been on the main roster and it's kind of a setback, but at the same time, like if she still needs to like work on what I think is still like character, personality is what because the wrestling she's got down for great. And shout out Lyra. It looked like she got engaged this past weekend. I saw on her social media, so congrats to her. But yeah, there was some cool stuff that made me go, yeah, Lyra and Tatum should face Jade and Bianca probably in one of those in one of those big NXT shows.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Tatum move up with Lyra at some point. Lyra's she's doing the Pete Dunne where she's kind of on both at the moment. Yeah. The women's tag division is still very much lacking. I think there's a huge gap of star power between Bianca and Jade, and then the Holy Ununion and
the Witches,
the Caden and Casey and all of them. I still call it Casey, but I think more women's tag teams could boost the division a little bit. And although it was a bit daft because these two were feuding not long ago, and Lyra's just like, okay, we're friends again. I do think they're better for each other as a team.
Yeah, it works way more. It makes way more sense as well. Like having these two, they weren't doing anything much before, and I don't like the spooky stuff that Wendy's doing. So I hope we do move away from it. But that is also another team that you could have face Bianca and Jade, I guess, down the line.
We see Ava and Trick backstage, and they're just pissed that the contract signing didn't go ahead, and Trick promises that he'll make Paige sign that contract tonight. We go back to the NQCC, where Charlie Dempsey is sporting a bit of a Triple H 03 beard.
It's Triple H 03, Lemmy from Motorhead, Hulk Hogan brother. He's got something going on here. It's definitely something.
It's interesting.
It's a handlebar. You could grab onto those things for sure.
And Charlie says he's pleased that Tavion Heights is back, and he went to Japan and made a name for himself. And Tavion says, yeah, I learned so much in Japan. And
I like Charlie here. Yes, Japan can change a man.
Yeah.
It certainly can.
And that's when Ren Sinclair interrupts, and Dempsey tells her, look, if you're going to be in the NQCC, you got to do something and make a name for yourself like Tavion did. It sounds like he's like, can you fuck off to Japan, please?
You go to Japan.
Yeah. And she doesn't hear him out and just says, I hear you loud and clear, and gives him a big chop across the chest and runs away.
So she's going to Stardom.
I guess so.
No.
We go to our next match. Tony D'Angelo taking on Hammerstone, as we see Obafemi in his green room looking on. There's big belly-to-belly suplexes and spine busters from Tony D. It is impressive. Like, we've seen him hit these on Oba, and I think it is pretty impressive on the bigger guys. Tony then kicks Hammer in the chest, and he just roars at him. And now Hammerstone comes back with big belly-to-belly throws, and Tony bails to the outside, and it cuts to Oba, who's just watching on and goes, he's broken. He's broken. And Tony starts to leave as the referee's counting, and the family are like, what are you doing?
Hey.
And he gets counted out. Tony D'Angelo just leaves the match, and Rizzo looks like she's going to cry.
So Hammerstone gets a victory via countouts. But very sad Tony D here. He just looks broken, as Oba said.
Yeah.
It's very sad to see. Booker made me laugh, as Vic is like, hey, Book, Tony paid Hammerstone to take out Oba and he didn't do it. Do you think Tony, should get a refund? And Booker's like, and he's like, I mean, Book, you're the more of a businessman, radio shows and reality of wrestling. And Book's like, you're right. Well, he's kind of thinking about like, no, he shouldn't get his money back. Like he still did the job, or he tried to. But the real story comes with what happens to the family.
What happens to the family?
Pretty like standard, quick little match. I wouldn't say Hammerstone has necessarily like super impressed me from these 2 weeks that he's been here on NXT, but at the same time, like I felt,
Tony got way too much in to start with, and then it was like one belly to belly suplex, and he's like, nope, I'm out. I think both these matches, they could have allowed Hammerstone to show off a bit more of why he's impressive, because obviously he's got an impressive physique, but he just got murdered by Femi last week, and this week he didn't really get much in either.
Yeah. So, yeah. I didn't. It was kind of just there for me.
Zachary Wentz comes out and says, last week we were meant to challenge for the NXT tag titles, and we didn't because of this. Roll the footage. And we see some security footage of Trey Miguel getting into his car when Wesley jumps him, beats him up, and he says, I don't know how long Trey will be out for, but I do know that Wes is a piece of garbage. He goes, and how many rides did the 3 of us take together in that car? And we were brothers. And are you just jealous because we moved on without you? Or were you too big a star that you couldn't handle my arm being raised at No Mercy? And you think what happened to you then was embarrassing, but the pain I will put you through in the street fight will be 10 times worse. This ends in Chicago. I think he's a really great promo, and I thought, for me, he's the one carrying this feud right now.
Yeah, he's definitely been the better talker of the Rascals, but like I missed him when we lost him in NXT, and him doing this like kind of shows that he can handle his own
Yeah.
like as well. Look, he's not with Trey, he's not with Wes. I think it's a little hokey. I think I saw, whether it was Melter or someone, report that Trey was getting like some sort of minor surgery, and that was the reason why they did this angle and everything. They made good reason for it. It's just funny when they're like, anyway, here's this timestamp that says Dayton, Ohio, with like this date and everything. It's like, I've watched NXT for a long time. I know what that parking lot.
Yeah.
Like, they could have filmed it anywhere, but the fact that they had to let us know, like, hey, this is Dayton. Okay, I can let that go. But I guess a cool way to maneuver this into the storyline is Wes later on sends in a video to like reply to this and says like, hey, you interfered in that match actually. So now it's just one-on-one.
It's just one-on-one. And also on the tweet he put out with that, he's like, and also who leaked that video, I'm going to find you.
Oh.
So there might be someone with whoever.
NXT Anonymous,
Yeah,
who we
maybe.
still never found out.
We'll never know
who that is. But moral of the story, no matter if it's Florida or Ohio, if you are a parking lot, even related to NXT, dangerous.
Yeah.
Very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
So the parking lot technically strikes again.
Yes.
I'd say.
We then go back in Ava's office with some, what is this? Some next in line guy? Tyler Halifax or something?
Tyler,
some tool lad.
Tyrese Halliburton. Oh, what an NXT name that is. Jeez, where are they
put that through the generator?
Yeah, what is this? Oh, wait, sorry. Oh, wait, this is the Olympic gold medal winner. Plays on the Pacers. Who? Apparently he's
I don't follow fake sports.
Apparently he's a real basketball player.
Oh.
They announced him last week, and I was like, okay, the name like sounds familiar. I had to look it up, but Pacers, Indiana Pacers.
You don't want to be pacing if you're playing basketball. You want to be running, don't you?
Terrible basketball name. Terrible sports name. The Pacer. Like, oh, they're pacing behind. Yeah, they're Pacers.
It doesn't make him sound quick and athletic and
suck.
Just pacing around.
This guy would get a laugh out of me in both segments, including the line here to Mr. Stone. But...
So it seemed like Ava was a bit like me. Like, who the fuck's this guy?
Right, yeah.
And Stone's listing off all his accolades. And then Tyrese just doesn't know who he is. Stone's like, I picked you up.
Yeah, so Stone is like trying to big him up, and Tyrese is like, sorry, who are you? And he's like, I'm the one who gave you the ride from the airport today. Don't you remember? He's like, no, sorry. Anyways, I got an idea. And like, he steps up to be involved in the contract signing later. He is sporting a very nice Shawn Michaels shirt, trying to definitely get off the vibe that he is a fan. I think pushing that, but doesn't
know who Robbie E is.
Yeah, come on. Not a real fan.
I thought he was an asshole here.
Yeah,
this guy picked him up from the airport.
He's a heel for sure,
and he doesn't even know who he is.
Right.
But then Ava's like, "You said you were best friends."
Yeah, but Stone was
asshole.
Yeah.
So Tyrese is gonna be sorting out the contract signing later.
Of course. Who else would be?
Who else could do it?
Be in charge of that. It's a basketball player. All right. It's wrestling.
Ashanti the Adonis makes his entrance.
Now this is a future gold medal winner here. This is no pacer.
And as he comes out, he gives a rose to a girl sat at the front.
So we get this girl who's sit with her, partner, boyfriend, and Ashanti has the rose and gives it to her and like gets a little kiss from her, and the boyfriend's like, yo, what the fuck, man? So great little like addition to this entrance. Very Los Lotharios.
Yes.
Very Eddie Guerrero.
Angel
with the rose. Yeah, never forget. So Tahuti Miles here with the new entrance. Loving it.
We then go to Fatal Influence being interviewed, and they say all they do is tell the truth. And you can either handle the truth as a mature woman or you can bitch and cry about it. And they say Lola is a great fighter, but we are going to show her later what like experience can do. And then Fallon mocks Jada for being the next it girl. And they say that Kalani Jordan is ducking them. And Jasmine Nix finishes by saying, if you want to find us, you'll find us. And so we've got Jacy and Lola later. We then cut to Lola, who's shadow boxing in the locker room. And Lola tells Jada Parker, who also has an issue with Fatal Influence, that she doesn't want her interfering or anything tonight. and that Jada can handle them after she's finished with them.
Yeah, so kind of a can they coexist, but both have common enemies, and we kind of want to see them team up.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that.
We go to Ashantee the Adonis versus Eddy Thorpe. Ashantee jumps Eddy during his during his entrance, and they say that the referee of the match is Chip Danny.
Now I'm going to tell you the truth. This was more intriguing than the whole match itself.
Chip Danny?
Chip Danny?
Yeah.
Yo, that's an NXT,
That's an NXT
name. What are we doing here? You're telling me the ref's name is Chip Danny.
Chip Danny is
Chip Danny, WWE. Okay.
Crazy.
Dangerous Danny Davis. That can't be
I
the
assume
same
he's
guy.
a former wrestler, right?
I guess. Weird. Interesting.
Yeah.
No, sorry. There was another ref called Danny Davis. So this can't be the
Okay.
same ref.
Chip Danny.
Chip Danny. That's a different ref.
At one point, Vic says, Eddy has been the same Eddy since he arrived. And I turned to you and I was like, yeah, that's the problem. This guy hasn't evolved.
Yeah.
Booker kind of took it as that.
Yeah, Vic was on the same page as me and you when he heard him say that, like, I was like, yo, my job's to like shit on these guys. What are you doing? And Vic clearly picked up that Booker was like, what do you mean he's the same? What do you mean by that? And then Vic's like, no, I mean like he's been the good guy and the DJ
Morals. And,
and he's like trying to fix like, he has been the same, hasn't he?
Been the same.
Been boring.
They start trading strikes. There's a beautiful looking spinning back kick to the face from Ashantee. And then Eddy comes back with a Gamangiri. Both are down. Ashantee delivers a drop kick right to the mush, knocking Eddy off the apron. And then climbs the top and does a corkscrew. We see like Ray Phoenix in this do that.
Yeah.
Like the spinning corkscrew to the floor. And then he looks over at the girl he gave the rose, climbs the top, blows her a kiss, and goes for a big splash. But he was too distracted. He misses it and then gets caught with the DDT from Eddy Thorpe for the win.
Ashantee.
Come on, man.
Look, Ashantee, I'll continue to call you the smartest man in WWE because you realize the potential of what NXT has to offer. But beautiful women come and go. Real graps are forever. And you forgot that. And you got distracted and you lost.
You got to get the job done. Focus on the job and then you can.
Yeah, more jobs will come later. But the fact that you lost to DJ Platonic.
Yeah.
Like, man, I hope this feud continues.
Do you?
I just want Ashanti to keep feuding with people, and I hope it's not Eddy Thorpe.
Right.
I don't even dislike him. It's just what Vic said was like, sadly, what is the truth?
I forget this guy's on the roster every single
like
week.
he hasn't
nothing memorable.
He hasn't like really improved. I don't think anything's wrong with his wrestling, and I thought that kind of even before he was in WWE. But like, it's kind of like they're changing. Okay, let's go with your background and push that. Okay, that's cool. But then since then, I haven't done anything with it. Then there was the tree whipping thing. Then there was the DJ, but mixing that.
I feel we should just try him as a heel to see if that unlocks anything else out of him. Something's missing for sure.
Because Ashanti, it's like, yeah, okay, in this match he lost. It was a quick match. There wasn't that much wrestling in it. I know he's a pretty decent wrestler, but so far being in NXT, he's been funny and he has been memorable because I'm watching this being like, oh, what's this guy getting up to? And he's got the rose and the girl. I'm like, that's pretty funny. So I'm more interested in seeing this guy trying to pick up than I am seeing Eddy Thorpe wrestle. So, yeah.
We have a video from the scraps of Chase U, Thea Hale, and Riley Osborne.
Yeah, screw your bracelets and your burning down houses and whatever other wrestling storyline you think is the best. This is the best. Chase U, broken record. Chase U lore is better than anything going on right now. Okay, so Ridge, we knew he was sus. We knew Ridge was sketch. We didn't trust. Everyone finally believed that he was fine, and then he turned on everyone once he lost the title, and then he took out Andre Chase. He put him in the hospital. Then he beat up Duke, probably put him in the hospital too. Yeah. And then now all we're left is with Riley and Thea. Sad alone. The emotional piano music playing underneath this just added to this so much.
And this is cut between that. Both of them are like sat at a Chase U desk delivering this directly to the camera
with the framed photo
as we're seeing like the clips of the destruction Ridge caused. And Thea goes, Ridge, we welcomed you with open arms. We wanted to be able to say, we told you so, not the other way round. And I saw what you did to Chase and Duke, and you broke my heart. Then Riley perks up. He says, I hate that I was right and that Duke was right. We welcomed you in. We gave you a chance. And all you did was show who you really are. Well, next week, I'm going to get you out of our lives once and for all. So, is Thea... I'm sensing Thea. Because, remember, she reminds me of his daughter.
Swerve. She is his daughter.
Oh, fuck.
Imagine he's like, that's why she reminds me. Like, you are.
Thea
Yeah.
Holland,
Yeah. The whole time she's like, yeah, I'm actually his kid. Yeah, I see it. Riley, the same fate is going to happen to him next week. He's getting beat up. He's getting put through a table. And then when he has to stand toe and toe, face to face with Thea,
she laughs.
hugs him.
And hugs and make out.
I'm saying she's his daughter. You're saying they make out. I think we might
Why
be.
not both?
I mean, if they really want that rating pop on CW, you know,
incest work for Game of Thrones. All I'm saying.
Yeah. I thought Vince is gone from WWE, but yeah, I do see Thea kind of maybe aligning herself with him.
I'm kind of sensing that.
Like,
Riley's the last one to be destroyed.
They help each other. Maybe he helps manage her. You know, she could eventually go for Kalani's belt or something.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah,
Shame. I don't want to see the end of Chase U.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I
she
love
was a
this
big part of.
university.
She was a big part of it. So like, yeah, it either goes that way or no. She stands up for them and then she faces Ridge. So I don't know where we go with this, but
Thea versus Ridge.
She can't fight. We do need like a big Andre, like Stone Cold return pop from Andre Chase.
Yeah,
like fucking shows up in a school bus, breaks out the back door, comes out, beats this guy up. Oh,
yeah,
book it.
Like Aleister Black when he returned.
Yeah, I'm thinking doors, Stone Cold, just like
taking out people,
beating everybody up. But it's Andre. He's wearing a sweater when he's doing it. Come on, that wouldn't be great.
One day he's gonna like rip that off and just reveal he's like Jose the assistant. He's like unbelievably jacked.
He probably is. But yeah, there you go. That I still love my Chase U storyline, and I'm feeling
now,
it.
Then and forever.
Like I feel sorry for Chase U right now, and I kind of want the revenge. I want them to get their revenge on Ridge, and I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm waiting for it, but CW hoping we get Andre coming back.
Yes. CM Punk shows up, comes to the ring, and he asks if everyone saw Raw last night. Did you see Raw?
I saw his segment on Raw. Yeah.
What did you think of his
He's gonna kill Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, gonna make him bleed.
Yeah.
We pretty much had blood promised for this Hell in a Cell match.
We're definitely we chatted all about this on Poison Rana on Sunday, but I do think we're gonna get some blood from this match. This should be the main event and the big blow off feud for this. Whether Punk goes on to face Gunther afterwards or something, but. Yeah,
I really liked his promo. Obviously, Punk's a great talker.
Yeah,
it was nice to hear like not the like smarmy Punk, just like a straight down the line serious promo.
Yeah, I noticed on Dynamite when Jack Perry showed up in his scapegoat van.
Oh yeah,
that he pulled up,
keeps it running,
and he left, and he just leaves the door open. And then I noticed that Punk does that too on Monday Night Raw. I was like, oh,
that's funny,
very nice.
Yeah. I thought Raw was fun this week. I'm really enjoying the Woods and Kofi thing. I think they're obviously you've had Odyssey Jones just disappear.
Yeah.
But I like what they're doing. I think that feud is quite believable. It's one of those things where you can really understand Woods' frustration. It's not necessarily a typical heel turn that he's now going to just beat up his mate. Like you can understand his frustration. You can understand Kofi's thing. I thought the line of, we need help because we don't have E anymore. I thought that really worked. And Punk brings it up in this promo, but I thought Io Bianca was fantastic last night, like pay-per-view quality. And I'm enjoying Bronson Reed and Braun just fucking each other up. It's
nice.
Pretty fun. Punk asked us if we saw Raw last night and says, I was serious then. I wanted to get all the business out of the way because I want to have some fun tonight. And he says, I watch NXT on the USA Network and I see all you beautiful people in the crowd. And I've never been in this ring surrounded by you. So this is pretty cool. Pretty sure he was.
No, I remember he showed up at the pay-per-view I mean,
pay-per-view. Okay.
To be fair, PLE, sorry.
Mm.
To be fair, we do a show called What's Next.
Mhm.
Cheap pop for that show again, because we have seen him in an NXT ring. He's teamed with Seth Rollins.
But at full set.
But at Full Sail.
Yes.
Yes. And then recently, when he came back to WWE, he showed up at the Deadline or
That's
something
right.
like that. But
it was at an arena.
at an
Yeah.
arena. So, yeah.
So he says, this is pretty cool. And a few of you I recognize because you're here each and every week. And when I was rehabbing here, I'd sneak in to watch the show. And some of you guys would see me. And they started chanting, "We saw you." And he's like, yeah, that's what I said.
He says, "I saw you see me, but I can't chant that."
I can't chant that.
It's weird.
He says, I enjoy watching the development of the men and women become stars of the future. And I have to admit, I'm doing a bit of scouting as well, because one day we're rubbing elbows, next week we're smacking elbows. And I know one day I'll see you, Lexis King, because you see that beard?
He says that beard is fantastic.
Fantastic.
In the most CM Punk
Yeah.
smug way of saying it.
This program was going so well, and then he's like, I see you, Lexis King. It's like,
But he's said some shit about Lexis King in the past, not being a fan, and then I guess they work together again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He says, I've been seeing Carmelo Hayes tearing it up on SmackDown. Ethan Page is your champion, and one day I know I'll be staring across the ring from Bron Breakker.
Oof.
He then brings up Javon Evans and says, I have t-shirts older than Javon. And Sean knows I love NXT, and I begged Sean to be part of that Chicago show. And he agreed, but the reckless 1995 Sean came out and said, kid, you can do whatever you want on the show. So he came up with an idea.
Yeah, imagine 1995 Shawn Michaels and CM Punk.
Yeah.
Think they get along?
No.
Absolutely not.
He could do anything. He should have just said, and I will be the new champion. However, Roxanne Perez interrupts and says, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'll let you get to your big announcement, which is probably about Julia, because that's all that anyone seems to be going on about. But 13-year-old me would be freaking out right now, standing in the ring with the best in the world, my favorite wrestler, CM Punk. And you're one of the reasons why I wanted to be in WWE. You could almost feel like a little like nerves in her voice as she's saying all this.
Sure, of course.
Kind of like the early Roxanne we'd hear. And she goes, you are the voice of the voiceless. You are my voice. But I always did prefer your wife. As he smiles and there's AJ chants. She says, you have no idea how happy I was for you to return 10 years. And now you're here. And I just wanted to tell you that after all this time, I should have been a Drew McIntyre fan.
Oh.
She says, you want one last moment of glory before Drew ends your career? Just stay at home with Larry because I don't want or need you here. And maybe everyone else wants you there, but I don't. And when I beat Julia, Chicago won't be your town. It will be mine. And this isn't about you or Julia. It's about me. And Punk goes, can I retort? She goes, no, I wasn't done yet. She goes, I don't care how big Julia is in Japan. I'm big all over the world. I am untouchable. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Hey.
She goes, I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not. And Punk says, well, you're certainly on the way to being hated, but I do love the balls on you. And if anyone can appreciate an overconfident champion, it's me. And the chip on your shoulder, I used to have one too. And it was about the size of you. And that chip is what made me the best in the world. And that chip, pointing to the NXT Women's title, makes you the best. Maybe not just in NXT, but in WWE. He says he was in Portland last night seeing Bianca and Io tear the house down. And I thought, you know who would fit in with these two ladies and might even be better? And that's Roxanne. But all that might mean nothing after you face Julia. He goes, but I don't know Julia. I know you. And that's when the music hits and all the pink smoke is billowing out as Julia comes down and just says, Roxanne, the countdown is on. You have 2 weeks left. Julia turns to leave. Rox goes to hit her with the title belt, but Punk grabs it off her.
Yeah, and then he kind of stops them, and as they have a face-to-face there. But yeah, great segment between Punk and Roxanne. I mean, first Punk basically like, I love NXT. I love Lexus King, Carmelo Hayes, and Braun Breaker. Yep. No, I do believe he watches this kind of stuff. I feel like one day the keys to the kingdom could be his here in NXT. I mean,
well, it's definitely like some of the stuff that he sounded bitter about in AEW was he wanted to go there and be like a mentor to people, and a lot of the people there were like, we kind of started this without you, and we don't need you.
Right.
Whereas I think he's able to be that mentor in NXT with people respecting and appreciating his input.
I thought his promo sounded good, as he always does, but I really liked the moments with him and Roxanne. Like, basically Roxanne saying some things that kind of are truthful in a way, like how I feel as a fan. This guy made his career a voice of the voiceless, like the anti-establishment, and he says he's the Taylor Swift of wrestling or whatever. Now it's like, he is kind of the establishment. I do like her bringing up AJ. I think we've talked about it for months of like, hey, the fact that Punk is back, meaning there is one, glimmer of hope that we do get an AJ. She's referenced AJ before. In fact, she's been the only one to reference her in the time when they weren't allowed to or whatever. And
he
now,
references her.
He now does, but like she has also. And then now making this reference, I joked like months ago, like it would be cool if she showed up on the Chicago show. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but he did say, Roxanne, I know I'm going to see you on Raw in the future. That is somewhat planting the seeds, because that would be the match you do. These two. Yeah,
I could see you doing at least a moment in the Rumble.
Yeah,
between the two. Like
she's in great shape. She has left Women of Wrestling, but like since her exit, like whether she did some stuff with heels, whether it was like promo press stuff, she was looking good. So like it wouldn't be crazy to say.
Can't remember. I saw somewhere where, and take whatever wrestlers say with a grain of salt, but she did say about not being like able to wrestle anymore physically. But how many people have we seen come back from career ending in
I just got to hear that theme song one more time. Let's light it up. Let's light it. I really liked Roxanne digging with Drew McIntyre, bringing that up. Like, again, Roxanne has become such a complete package, and I think this was a big deal for her to have like a promo off with CM Punk on TV, and I think she shines so much, and she's already one of the best in WWE, but like wait till more people see her. Wait till she like becomes a real household name in wrestling. I think she is in fact the future, the prodigy, all that stuff. So this was a weird like passing of the torch kind of.
You know what it kind of reminded me of? Because it would have been so easy to just have Punk in the ring and Lexus King comes out.
Yeah.
And he hits him with the GTS and they go back and forth or something. It reminded me of was it the debut of SmackDown on Fox when The Rock came out and Becky interrupted him?
Right.
And it was like, this isn't really a pairing I'd have thought.
Exactly.
And it's something that you don't see that often, the men and the women like just verbally going at it in a sparring match.
Agreed.
And we've seen all the pictures of Punk hanging out with Rox, and we know she's a fan and all that. So I thought it worked really well. I think Rox has completely come into her own as this heel character. I do think once she's on Raw, I would like to see her back as a babyface, because I do think she's strong in that role. But you almost think if like they tried this with Cora and it just didn't click. And part of that is injuries as well. But there was so much with the heel stuff that didn't just seem to work. And Roxanne seems way more naturally babyface than Cora is. And I think she's completely owning this. And this is what, developmental is for, is you should be improving, trying to find out the weaknesses in your game and making them stronger. And I think you're right. Roxanne has just become the complete package.
Complete package.
Should be a huge star on the main roster down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, again, like she's NXT famous, and I'm sure people are like, oh, okay, I kind of know who that is or who that and whatever. But when she starts having these kinds of promos and these kinds of matches that she's had here, like, household name.
And now if you've got like
huge career,
if you've got Shawn, Booker, Punk, all
behind you,
backing you. Yeah. Like, unless you do something to really fuck up, like, you should be good.
So right after this segment, Drew McIntyre tweeted,
Okay.
none of this if you're my wrestling daughter BS. Only freaks do that. I'm just very proud of you, Roxanne. Because Punk, I'm sure, calls Roxanne and Cora his wrestling daughters.
Which is really funny from Punk. Because do you remember, was it the Ariel interview where Punk went off about everyone's like, Vince is a father figure to me? And he's
Right.
like, fuck off. I have a father.
Right.
I don't need you to be my dad. I need you to be my boss.
Right.
He said something like, I think it was the Ariel interview.
Interesting.
And then he goes around, oh, you're my wrestling daughter.
I thought that promo was like a really highlight of the show. And then
Yeah,
like
I
also weaving in the Julia stuff. The only gripe, and it's nitpicking, is like, hey, did you say Julia? I really wish you stopped talking about Julia. Bitch, I didn't say Julia is what.
Yo, why are you talking about Team Taz?
Yeah, I almost Punk was like, yo, what the like, no, again, I think this was
Get
awesome.
Team Taz out of your mouth.
I really thought this was good. And I'm so excited for Roxanne and Julia. And like, in a way, it's like, Roxanne, what else is there for you to do once you lose the title? And if you lose it right away to Julia, it helps establish Julia, but where do you go after this? Main roster could be ready for Roxanne. And like, I think she will just have a great run.
It's whether we've sometimes seen, they do the big arena match and then they'll have a rematch on an NXT because they like doing the farewell, doing a cage match in NXT and then
right
after the show they're like, thank you, because they often have those moments, don't they, that you see on .com or
like
whatever.
She's definitely in the run for like Women's Wrestler of the Year. It's between her and Io, and that's the match I need to see.
I would have whether we haven't had a women's main roster. Oh no, we had a women's main roster War Games last year, didn't we? I would have her debut in that on main roster.
Okay.
Have her as like a special like fifth member of one of the teams.
Right.
And establish her big that way. And then you can have her like ready for the Rumble and Mania season.
Yeah. Something we didn't talk about is how Punk never got to make his announcement, which then led us to believe he might have something to do with something a bit later on.
So we go backstage to Kalani Jordan, who's being interviewed about what Fatal Influence said with her ducking them. She says, I ain't ducking anyone. I'll face anyone. But I want to face people who excel in the ring, not excelling at insults. And when I saw Jordan Grace issue her open challenge, I want to do something like that. And I want to issue an open challenge. And I hope one of Fatal Influence steps up to that. And that's when Ren Sinclair runs in and says, Mr. Dempsey told me to make a name for myself, so I'm doing it now, and slaps her right across the face and runs away.
Yeah, I got a pop out of that. That was pretty funny.
I loved it because it wasn't even like in a heel way. It's like, sorry, I'm going to do this.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was the thought about, hey, yeah, sorry, I got to make a name for myself. So Ren is definitely like
funny.
Got us for sure. Like the first few times we were like, what is this character? And now she's very funny. So yeah, this will come into play later too. Yes. But just the slap got a pretty laugh out of us.
We see the family.
Ooh, this was taking it to some serious levels.
And they're saying, let's go find Hammerstone and chat to him. And Tony's like, nah, forget about it. And they go, well, Oba, what about try and get a rematch with Oba? No, it's going to be right place, right time. Like, Tony, what's going on? Nothing. And those words you never want to hear a woman say, I'm fine.
Fine.
I'm fine.
Tony, you sure we could go get some food? Kay. You don't want to hear that one either. Fine.
Oh,
okay.
It hurts. You all know it, boys and girls. You never want to hear.
Or like when your like parents don't know that like just replying K can like.
My dad does the thumbs up. So does John Pollock. To be
just
fair.
The thumbs up. Oh, that's such an old boomer thing to do. The thumbs up.
It's passive aggressive.
Yeah. The K is K with a capital K with a period.
K.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. So they ask him, and he's like, "I'm fine." You just knew this guy wasn't.
And they go, well, if you're not injured, what is it? He goes, I'm afraid. That's the truth. I'm afraid.
I'm scared.
I'm supposed to be the Don of NXT, afraid of no one. Never back down from a fight I can't handle. But it's different with this guy. He's not human. and I can't beat it.
This was great. I know the Emmys were this past Sunday, and like, you know, now that WWE seems to be putting credits at the end of their show sometimes, maybe some superstars should be nominated for future Emmy Awards, because, you know, we've always compared Tony D'Angelo to Robert De Niro, but this, he was really going for it. I was getting some real deep, you know, deep cut De Niro here. Like this was pretty good. Good acting, I thought. The chops showed when he just came out and said, "I'm scared, man."
I like it. You know, I'll hold off maybe to the last. Or shall we just jump to the?
Yeah, I don't even
next
remember what
segment now?
this one had me gripped. I don't even remember what happened after this.
So later in the night, so we realize now Don is like, he thought he was the Don of NXT.
Thought it was the Don.
And then this guy is just beating him.
I could have been a contender.
And Rizzo approaches Tony later in the night. And she goes, "Tony, I'm afraid too. And it's okay." And Tony goes, "No, to me it's a problem. I feel disrespected, and I failed you guys." Rizzo says, "What are you afraid of? Afraid to lose? Afraid to be remembered as a coward? It doesn't matter, because you'll always have us as a family. And I know you want another shot at Oba." Tony says, "I do." So Rizzo goes, "Okay then, let's do it. And if you lose, you lose. But at least you did it through the fear. Dax believes in you. Luca believes in you. And so do I. But now, you got to believe in you. So go and get some special training." Tony goes, "Gee, when did you get so tough?" She goes, "Come on. I grew up with fighters.
Grew up with tough guys all my life."
Yeah.
Wow. Again, just not being sarcastic. I like the fact that that's something that WWE never did for so long, is like AEW when they first came along, they're like, "Hey, what if we had our characters actually like be like real people?" And I felt like this episode of NXT was in a step in a right direction, because we had Punk being a real person, Roxanne, you know, even though still being a heel, kind of being a real person, but here Tony being like, "Yeah, I left the match because I was fucking scared, and like, you know what? I got fucked up by that guy. That guy really hurt me. I'm scared to fight him again."
I feel it's a clear direction of WWE as a whole right now, because even the Wyatt Six, they're not going down the route of them being supernatural. They're like, these are broken people who wear these Batman in a way. Like I wear this, I project my fears. And definitely the Kofi and Woods thing yesterday was like stuff that just felt like real. Like, we haven't won a title in 3 years. We haven't done shit since E's gone. We keep getting attacked by other people, and it's a lot more compelling for me. And still, it's WWE. It's very heavy-handed a lot of the time, but I would take this over swerves for the sakes of swerves, and
or more Italian mobster type stuff.
Yeah,
right? You know, like
I like this. It kind of reminded me a bit of the Sammy Gunther story going into Mania, where it's this one guy is unbeatable and getting under your skin because of it. I always like that, where you've got that, that kryptonite, that one person. We did the Misawa Kabashi Kawada thing, and it was all of them had one of the others numbered, didn't they? They could never, each of them couldn't beat a certain one of that kind of triangle. And I like it. I thought this made Tony seem a bit more real.
It made it seem like, oh shit, Oba is so dominating that he like broke this guy. Like Oba said in the match, he is broken because he's like scared. And guys, it's okay to be scared sometimes, but it's also okay to face your fears. And you know, just like Rocky, just like Sami Zayn in Philly, you know, maybe you don't win, but fighting you are.
Well, it makes me think he is going to be.
He should
dethrone.
Yeah, you
We've
should.
been saying like it.
He should.
Oba should hold this for a long time.
No, because Oba's going to face Ethan Page.
Now you've introduced this story. I'm like, I'm for Tony winning.
Yeah, definitely like a good little kind of sub story here with him being like actually a grounded human being of like, I'm kind of scared of this guy. And I hired a big monster from TNA and he got fucked up too. So I'm a little worried. Good like direction change, because we've gotten so many cheesy eating bad looking pasta. You know, of course she's doing the over the top accents. They all are, but like at least I don't know. It felt way more like a movie or a real story of like I'm scared of this guy. Is really simple when you break it down, but they don't tend to do that a lot in WWE. So I like that.
We go to our next match, the NQCC of who is this? Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne teaming to take on Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander. Javon just right off the bat showing off his speed. He's hitting nice kip ups and leaps and drop kicks. He blind tags Cedric, who hits a drop kick to the face of Miles. NQCC come back with like a double DVD, double AA almost.
This is pretty cool, yeah.
To
like,
Cedric.
Like they both lift him up and then they both flip him over.
Javon then gets bouncy, sending Tavion out the ring with a big drop kick. And then Cedric teases a dive to the outside, but just leaps over, stands on the apron, and pulls the ropes down as Javon leaps over him, taking out the whole of the NQCC. We get a nice Randy Orton-esque power slam from Miles Bourne.
Yeah, you know, Randy Orton's going to be here on the second week on the CW. Do you think he tuned into NXT tonight and went, is that me?
You're getting the Spider-Man mode.
Is that me? Because they look very similar. Young Randy and Miles Bourne look very similar.
Yeah. We get a beautiful looking spinning kick from Javon. Double dragon screw from Cedric to Tavion and Miles. He threw Miles' leg into Tavion and then hit Tavion with the dragon screw, causing like a rebound dragon screw. It's pretty cool. There's then a drop kick to the back of the head from Tavion, a Michinoku driver from Cedric, but Miles breaks up the pin. And then we get this huge leaping clothesline from Tavion, just taking Cedric's head off. Bourne goes for a cover, but Javon leaps over Cedric, I think it would. No, leaps over Tavion to break up the pin. And this is where Kalani Jordan runs down to take out Ren Sinclair. And they're all running around and causes a bit of a distraction where Cedric hits the Lombard check to Miles. And then not to Hootie, sorry. Fuck, you got me going, and that's the wrong guy. Javon then hits the triple jump spinning senton, which looked like he just landed on Miles' face.
It looks like he headbutted him.
Yeah.
It looked like this hurt Javon a whole lot more.
Javon is bouncy, and it looked like from the Lombard check, Miles ended up a bit too close to the turnbuckle.
Maybe.
And then Javon just went flying. Because think it's the triple jump, so you get even more height. But yes, Javon Evans picking up the win here over the NQCC. Yeah,
the ref had to check on him, like, hey, are you okay? Because it looked like, I hope Javon is okay, because it looked like he smacked his head off him. Like, the move didn't hit necessarily. No. Some of these jumping moves, like this double jump, springboard, moonsaults, and twisting things, they always tend to look cool, but they never actually, like, connect sometimes, and then it doesn't look like it's necessarily a finisher, but that's just nitpicking. I love Javon Evans, and Cedric had some cool stuff in this too. I'd say this is the best Cedric's looked since coming to NXT. I think he's been a little off since coming down, but I thought he looked like the Cedric of old here. I guess the only thing is like these guys lost to Javon and Cedric when like we should be continuing bumping them, but they always tend to lose and get their win back. They can blame Kalani because it was very like Kalani chasing Ren like Wile E. Coyote, kind of Benny Hill or whatever, just like running around while all this stuff. That seems to be Ren's thing a lot too. It's like she's always running around and causing distractions and stuff. But a pretty fun match and pretty cool. Tavion being back from Japan. He's letting everyone know with his Japanese sleeve. Yeah. He's got a weird outfit, but it kind of works. Like a leg sleeve thing. Yeah. But all these guys like are fun to watch. So it wasn't bad. After the match, we get the tweet confirming that in St. Louis, it will be Javon Evans versus Randy Orton. Yeah. So Randy said he's watching. He saw Javon earlier mention like, hey, can I get my slot? Can I get a match or whatever? And Randy said he was watching. So Randy versus Javon Evans. If you thought the triple jump twisting corkscrew thing was crazy here, wait till you see him do it and get RKO'd. You know, that sounds really cool. You know what I want to see more than that? Randy do a leg slap. The jumping leg slap thing he did? Remember he was like going off about too many people slap their legs. Right. And then there was a little thing with Ciampa on back when he was in NXT, I think the like Cole Gargano thing. He's like, oh, there's too much. I think he tweeted during an episode of NXT. Yeah. There's way too much leg slapping in wrestling or something like that. Right. And Ciampa and him had a bit of a back and forth. To be fair, being Randy's
like
Yeah.
first time in NXT. I need to see him just slap his leg at some point.
It's just like we watch so much old wrestling. Like,
Yeah.
you know how many times these old fucks leg slapped?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Sorry, Randy, but it's a thing.
Yeah.
It was always a thing. But Randy hitting the RKO when Javon goes for his cutter is
jump,
what will
yeah.
happen. So Javon's move is hitting the cutter, the RKO, triple jumping into the Cody cutter. So imagine him doing the triple jump and then gets caught.
They're probably practicing it. So
Right now,
during
they're
that day,
practicing.
yeah.
He's gonna, it's Evan Bourne shooting star press all over
Yeah.
again. Just like, how can we do one of the coolest looking?
What I always love is his celebration after he hits it. Like,
Right.
the one at Mania with Seth, because
Yeah.
the story is at 31, Seth suggested it, and Randy was like, no, there's no way we can do that. Producers were like, you're not going to be able to do that.
Right.
Watch Randy's face when he hits it. He's like, fuck yes! He's bounding his fist.
He's got some crazy ones, but this one could go up there because
Yeah.
Javon is, again, I've
It's
talked.
the only reason to put the match.
Yeah, it legit is like this will be a star making performance again. Like Javon is already in my books of one of my favorites to watch on this show, and I think he's gonna lose to Randy, but it's gonna be a definite like almost. I don't want to foreshadow or predetermine, but like Undertaker, Jeff Hardy, kind of like way different generations, kind of meshing here. And
Absolutely.
this kid's 20 years old, like that's crazy. So
No, it's really cool.
this is
I'm
such a cool
looking
match.
forward to this.
Yeah, this already like has my attention for that second week on the CW. So really, really cool to do that.
We see Ridge Holland, who says, I told you, and I told everyone I was going to destroy Chase you. Andre Chase, done. Duke Hudson, done. Riley Osborne, you're next.
I'll be seeing you.
Didn't mention Thea. So
Happening.
it's happening.
She's his daughter.
It's all because Riley didn't want to be
Yeah,
her boyfriend.
that's what it's all going to go back to.
Yeah.
And somehow about the gambling thing, but we'll let that go. Not Chase's gambling.
Dukes. As this is one of those kind of crossfade scenes where Ridge leaves and we see Brooks
Well, before that, you could see Sean Spears like chilling,
sitting in the background.
sitting with his broken arm, and then Brooks walks up. Yeah.
Yes. So Brooks is walking to the ring and Spears wishes him good luck. So Brooks just turns to him and goes, we doing this? He's like, yeah. And come with me. All right. So Spears.
We get a nice little like evil look from Spears, like it's working.
And Brooks is definitely going for the like
Raven.
deliberately looking like shit thing. Like he's grown his beard out, his hair out, his like he's in just pants, not like wrestling gear. One leg is tucked into his boot, the other's not.
It's very Raven with
Loose
the
flash.
flannel.
Yeah.
He's even sitting in the ring like Raven. He's doing the even flow DDT. Like he's definitely deliberately going for that lost soul thing. But in being like Raven, he's finding his flock with the 10-man, the chairman. So it's kind of a bit backwards, but I'd like to see it play out. We're not that big on Sean Spears being here in NXT. And so far it took a while, but if I may be finding a groove of the little sweet spot of, hey, maybe not have this guy wrestle all the time, but being there can help some people.
We go to the match. Brooks Jensen taking on Dion Lennox. Brooks goes in very stiff, some real mean punches to the face. And then as Dion's running the ropes with quite some speed, Brooks comes at him with equal speed and hits his like rolling capo kick, spinning back kick.
Yeah, the like Owen Hart, spin heel kick kind of thing. But this looked like he clocked him in the head.
Speed of this,
Woo,
like just
looks
cracked
sick.
him and looked very good.
Yeah.
Brooks then grabs Dion's glasses and goes to break them when Lennox fights back. No, not my glasses.
I mean, Lennox, the only thing going for you is you come out wearing glasses and then you put them and take them off when
Hey,
you wrestle.
glasses are expensive as well.
But like, do you need them in your entrance?
I mean,
Can you see?
you've got to see.
like-
I mean, I'd wear contacts if you're.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. Your gimmick is I wear glasses. Okay.
He fights back, delivers a big back body drop, and then this is where Spears goes to grab the glasses, and Lennox stands on his hand and goes, "Nuh-uh, not today," and then goes for a schoolboy on Brooks, but Brooks counters it and hits the even flow DDT for the win.
Yeah, Dion, the character he's the bookworm, but like again, kind of a silly gimmick because that's all like we've seen people with backpacks in NXT before. Now you're just the glasses bookworm dude.
I was gonna say this guy kind of reminds me in a way of Jason Jordan, where I could see him having so many tag partners and gimmicks before, because we've seen glimpses. Like, he's very athletic, he hits a nice suplex, like there's some nice things about him, and I think like I think if he stays and I think he could be pretty good. But I see him being one of those guys. Oh yeah, do you remember when he just read books?
Remember when he was smart?
And as we doing our like was next from 2014, I remember, your Jason Jordans and your Angelo Dawkins. How many partners?
Sean Spears was.
How many
Jason Jordan?
And things did they go through until something clicked? Like, you had Jordan with Chad Gable, you had
Ty
Dawkins
Dillinger
with but when it clicked, you know, and I could maybe see that with this Lennox guy, because the bookworm isn't really working, but I guess for now it gets this, it's the guy that wears.
Well, the story is, I guess, Brooks and Sean Spears working together and it actually working. So I think, we'll start to get a change of Brooks, like possibly appearance and everything. Like, he'll get a little bit more cleaned up. I hope he doesn't dress like Sean Spears. That's the thing.
Get some tattoos.
Brings a chair.
Wears weird contact lenses.
Like, I still see something in Brooks for sure. Like, he's definitely got something. I know from watching this specifically, I was like, oh, it's Raven is what I'm getting out of this. And if they're gonna go with like almost like the learning tree kind of thing, but better, I don't know.
It's a bit of Raven. It's a bit of, Hangman with the Dark Order, almost like feeling a bit lost. And
well, that's what I felt like the Tony D
crisis and trying to find someone to take on and maybe falling in with the wrong people.
Right.
I'm liking it. I think Brooks is I like the tag team, him and Briggs, and now you're a bit more exposed when you're in the singles, and I think he's been rising to the occasion every time we've seen him.
Absolutely. And I mean, Briggs is back now. We're gonna have to go to that storyline with him coming back too, so we will get to that. But even down to the even flow, which I wonder if Brooks needs a new name or a new, because everyone does the DDT in 2024. It's a tough one, but we'll see.
Yeah, whether there's something they can.
What's
like
Sean Spears does
with his dad or something?
What was B2's finisher? That's a trivia question. A big boot? Proto bomb?
I think he did like a. Didn't he do like a Bordeaux bomb kind of thing?
Boldo bomb, like a sit out
tree slam kind of thing, maybe.
Okay, I'm diving leg drop. So Brooks does that already.
Nice leg lariat, didn't he?
A scissors kick.
Oh yeah, he did have a good scissors.
The falling power bomb. You're right. It's like a power bomb.
The
diving leg drop. So far Brooks does a lot of his dad's moves.
But whether you could do like, I don't know, the censored DDT, I don't know.
The censored DDT because he's right to censor. Yeah. He's B2 to me.
We get a Wes Lee promo sent in from his house. You see Spider-Man figures in the background.
Yeah, he had a great Red Ranger helmet in the background there. You just want to hate this guy. Yeah. The big heel sitting in front of like our set. Like, anyways,
like box and comic books, and it's like, oh, this guy's evil. He's evil.
Yeah.
We see, the tweet saying, I'm going to find who sent in that video. He said, I took out Trey because it's an insurance policy. I had to do it because now it's really one-on-one. The street fight ends everything. I'll see you in Chicago, brother.
Yeah, that match will be awesome. No matter how this feud has kind of been going, I think they may have missed a beat with Wes being the bad guy in this, because eventually him becoming NXT champion as a pure babyface is, I think, where the money would be at in the next year or so, which it could still happen, but the match itself will be good. I think they're going to step it up even more so from their last encounter. So I'm thinking that'll be a show stealer for sure.
We get a video sent in from Waller and Theory as they're talking about Fraxium, and Theory asks, who's Fraxium? Is that band Kurt Cobain was in? And they want to challenge for the tag titles. It's a title neither of them have held in NXT. They won the tag titles at WrestleMania and they want gold again. So they challenge them to a match at St. Louis, and they'll have Fraxium on NXT next week on the Grayson Waller effect.
Great. So I thought this video was funny, actually. They also said, Fraxium, those micro wrestlers on NXT, referring to how small these guys are. But Yeah, maybe not the direction I think everyone thought they were going to go with, like maybe assuming we were going to get the Rascals thing. Clearly, that's never happening. Wes and Wentz are tied up, but this is announced for week 2, St. Louis. So do we get the Machine Guns coming out? The Machine Guns appear on Chicago show. Wouldn't make sense now that we know kind of this is the outcome. So perhaps Fraxium beat A-Town Down Under. Great name. And then we get the Machine Guns come out to, like, you know, set up for Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, like it would be cool to have them wrestle on one of those big first shows, but just a surprise and a stare down or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know Waller and Theory are grating, but I think they could actually have a pretty good match.
Yeah.
Like I thought their match with, was it DIY? They had a pretty fun match with on SmackDown relatively recently. I think
you were there. Yeah.
Like I think they can be good in ring, and I think Fraxium haven't really missed in their tag matches. So yeah, not really the direction we thought, but I think this could hit.
Not the direction I thought, but at the same time, like if this is a way to eventually have that introduction, do they just show up? Machine Guns just show up? That could be something. Yeah. If they do come to NXT, right? It's hot young kids coming to NXT, but this match should also be pretty good. I'm groaning at the fact we get a Grayson Waller effect and then a Miz TV the week after.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it.
I wonder as well, you've always got that thing, you know, it's Nathan Fraser is the one who always puts his foot in his mouth. Like, you know, he's talking shit about, it's like, oh, he stood right behind me. You know, he could almost win the match and be like, you know, we've beaten everyone, that kind of thing. And then they come out.
Right. Yeah.
Be like,
fair enough. Yeah.
Beating us, kid.
Like that should be a heavily promoted match, if not like Halloween Havoc at that point.
Yeah.
I know that's like, will be a month or so from that, but still like that's the big bucks is Machine Guns versus Fraxium is the big dream match kind of thing. So I'm not mad at this. Like I think Grayson Waller has definitely stepped up, and A-Town Down Under are pretty funny. And I thought this was pretty good. So I'm okay with that for sure.
We go to Jacy Jayne versus Lola Vice. I think Lola's been studying her Prince Nana.
Why do you say?
Because normally she comes dancing to the ring all smiles.
Right, yes.
Whereas Prince Nana recently, when he's pissed off, he still does his
it's
dance.
like the mini version.
But he's like, I'm mad at you.
Still
and this is how she was wiggling her hips, but she's like, I'm pissed off. I'm angry.
She's
she's
always shaking her ass, so it doesn't matter if she's happy, sad. She's just always shaking it.
And Book's asking to pass that chalupa green.
And Vic's like, I'm about to give you a bottle of water. You need to calm down.
The bell rings and Lola just kicks Nyx right off the apron. We get a big boot from Jacy and then the running butt attack in the corner from Lola. Fatal Influence then try to get involved, but to no avail as Lola just hits the spinning back fist to Jacy for the win.
Yeah, and then after this, they beat her down. Jada comes out. We get the can they coexist, and I assume they coexist. We must get the tag team.
Yeah,
match.
Jada takes out everyone, and then Lola grabs Jada's like shoulder to turn around. We don't know if to say like thank you or whatever, and Jada goes to back fist her, but just misses, and they have a little stare down.
I liked Jada's pants. They were like rips all the way up and down through them. Pretty cool. Yeah, not much of a match, and it's definitely going towards like the tag match between them, but I guess it's all right. I'm not mind.
I actually think these two could have had a better match. Like,
I think the tag match will have more substance to it. I think we were just doing this to get to that instead of the other way around. So
do you see this on either of the shows on
St.
Louis maybe?
Yeah, I think so. Unless they already did announce it for next week. I could be wrong, but yeah, like we are getting this match whether we want it or not. But I don't necessarily hate Fatal Attraction. I think they're all I already think I like them more than Toxic Attraction.
Oh yeah.
And like
they're better workers.
Yeah.
The three of them.
Even Nyx, I'm like, you're the newest one. You might not even be that great, but you've been hidden okay.
What happened? Is Gigi injured?
Gigi, was she? Yeah, I forgot what happened to her. She went shopping for sundresses and we never saw her again.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ariana Grace is hanging out with her dad on TNA. Did you see that? That was pretty great.
I did not. I heard she was the ambassador.
So she got to do a segment with Santino, and yeah, pretty cool.
Was that on Victory Road?
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
That's when we get the segment between Rizzo and Tony, and then we go back to Tyrese Halliburton, who comes to the ring to boos, and he says, "Yeah, I would boo too if I was an Orlando Magic fan."
I don't even watch basketball, but that was a pretty funny line. This guy knows his wrestling. He just wants to get the booze, but then is a baby face by the end of this. I don't know. Weird.
He brings out Trick Williams, and Trick says, "Yeah, enough wasting time. Let's bring out Ethan to sign this contract." And he goes to say, "Before I sign your bald head," and he's like, "Wait, no. Before I sign your forehead with the sole of my loafer."
Yeah, it took him a second to get it, but the line was still pretty good. But yeah, if you don't sign that, I'm gonna sign your forehead with my loafer, which they were nice loafers.
Page comes out and says, "Look, when it comes to championships, Ethan Page is like the Boston Celtics, and Trick, you'll be like the Indiana Pacers and the rest of the NBA, watching me carry the championship and making history." They both sign it. And Tyrese says, "Well, now it's signed. It's time for you to whoop that Trick." And that's all we got, folks. Wait, I forgot one thing. Hit that music. And Cult of Personality hits. CM Punk walks out. And he says, "A match this big dictates the future of this brand. And a match this big needs something special." The crowd are chanting, "Referee, referee." He goes, "Well, the people have spoken. This match needs a special guest referee." And CM Punk says the man who will be making the 3 count will be him. And you will listen to the official. And since I'm the official, you can all start fighting now. And Trick and Page just start fighting as NXT goes off the air.
Yeah, so there we go. CM Punk, his announcement is he will be in Chicago and he will be the ref for this match. It makes sense. I kind of figured he'd be the ref for both title matches, considering he legit was in between Julia and Roxanne earlier, but maybe he's a special guest enforcer for that one. But
I think it was a way of maybe making both matches feel equally important on this show, having Punk involved with both of them. I kind of I imagine this closes the show.
Yeah.
But like I'm more interested in the actual Roxanne Julia match. I think that'll be a better match. But will both titles change hands?
Yeah, I'm kind of for both changing hands, because you look at Julia beating Roxanne. Roxanne is then free to eventually
move up,
go to main roster and do a whole lot of things. And then Julia has a lot of people we can do matchups with, which, lasts us for quite a while. Then we have, Stephanie Vacour coming in and possibly Delta, and who knows what else happens with the women's division. But I think it's a good restart. On the other side, this run of Roxanne has been good. One of the best NXT title runs for sure in quite a long time. Again, runner for Women's Wrestler of the Year, Roxanne Perez. But I do think it would make a lot more sense that you want to establish Julia as the next big NXT women's star. You have her beat Roxanne just like that. But then you're looking at Trick and Ethan Page. It's Trick lost it. It was a sneaky way, a sleazy way. So it's but Trick, if he doesn't win it, we've seen what happens when he wasn't the champ. He's just kind of trying to get back to that. So I'm not sure what would happen if he does go to the main roster. Is he ready to do that yet? Is another title reign something that he does need? If that's not the case, who is someone can step up to Ethan Page?
I feel Trick is someone you would want the face of this brand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I don't think he needs to. I could see him being around another year.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
I think he's someone they see as a star, and I think definitely going a new network, this is the guy they want to build this brand around.
Yeah, for sure.
And Julia is, I think Roxanne, that is more of a passing of the torch. Roxanne has done everything there and can move up, whereas Julia is a fresh face who can build this brand around as well. So I do see both changing hands. I guess open with the women, close with the men, with it being Punk, I would think.
Yeah, that makes sense. Having Punk at the end is a bigger deal, I guess. But yeah, either way, I think those are two big matchups. I do think having a double title change on that show is a big first, planting the flag. CW, look at us. Hopefully over 1 million rating. Hey, we're here.
It does feel they're going to have to add some more things that second week, because that does feel less.
Sure. But
it's further away. Yeah. There's more stuff you can set up, but it does feel very this one is loaded. This Chicago show.
Yeah. So next week on is the last one on USA, or sorry, USA, or for we watch it in the network. But so next week we have a Grayson Waller effect. We have Kalani versus Ren, and we have a press conference with like all the people who have matches on this Chicago episode. So yeah, they're going to be heavily pushing these things if we get more stuff added. I mean, Randy wrestling is a cool like thing, but I think there is still needs a few bells and whistles. I don't think adding Miz TV is necessarily let's get to 1 million.
Come on, leave Miz alone. I saw you decapitated our Miz figure, which is
I know
knew
you
don't like the guy, but come on,
I
give him
knew
a break.
you would find this on our set.
That is
The
terrifying.
decapitated Miz. It was an accident. I swear I didn't do that. But the window fell, and it so happened to legit chop off our Miz figure's head. I know that sounds like it's not
It's
legit.
like this hole is a perfect head.
That's where his head was.
Yeah,
His head's somewhere up here. But yeah, I swear I didn't purposely decapitate the Miz figure. Yeah, like having the Miz, okay, that's kind of not going to move the needle at all, I don't think. But having a few other things, cool. Maybe someone shows up on Miz TV. Maybe it's like,
Well, that's the tool you use it for.
Yeah.
Like that's where you could bring in a Ricky Starks, for instance, is
right.
a segment like that. You
Okay.
know?
Whoa, that's crazy. That would be the case.
Like he's someone who's a great talker. Like that would be as impactful a debut as like you could do to get him noticed, because he is very slick on the mic. And,
right.
He's got a similar kind of gimmick, the kind of Hollywood showbiz kind of thing, and
sure,
Starks could just come out and run him down.
We'll see. Like again, whether we get Starks, whether they get some other people showing up, signing to WWE NXT, former AEW people. I don't know. Jack Swagger's got nothing to do these days. You know, who knows who could show up. But so far, the second week, Randy Javon and that tag title match. And again, I think they'll add some more stuff. But yeah, overall, like an episode that's hyping up some stuff coming. But I'm not mad at it. I was really into the CM Punk Roxanne back and forth. I thought that was probably my highlight of this episode, but nothing necessarily annoyed me.
Yeah, this was for me like an episode more about the promos and things. There wasn't necessarily. I enjoyed the NQCC Javon Cedric match, but it wasn't like those weeks where we've had a big banger Fraxian match or whatever that I'd rave about. But I really enjoyed the Tony D'Angelo stuff this week, which was like a thread going throughout the night, and definitely enjoyed that Rox and Punk promo. Yeah.
Absolutely. So there we go. Next week, we'll have the last NXT before the CW move.
We can pour one out next week.
That's right.
The USA.
That's right. Exactly.
We were here for its whole run.
Wow. I don't see any feedback.
We
here.
have one.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
From Megan.
Of course.
Who says, thankfully, Drew didn't pull up to Florida. What I got was something just as good. I bet Roxy was ecstatic getting shared the ring with Punk, and I was tilting a little bit seeing them go back and forth verbally. All that false bravado is going to disappear in 2 weeks when Julia tears through her and Punk is going to wear the stripes for the NXT title match. It was cool to see Tony get some added nuance over his defeat to Obafemi, and facing his fears could drive him to be the one to hand over his first loss. Let me put the St. Louis show in perspective. Javon Evans was only 3.5 months old when Randy Orton became world champion, and now he's going to face him before he can legally drink. Insane. As it stands, Fraser Axiom versus Waller Theory is set. Remember, cards subject to change aren't just hollow words. It was nice to see Lyra and Tatum rekindle their unique friendship. Solid table setting for the new era.
Thank you, Megan. Yes, no Drew. We were kind of thinking like, hey, Punk announced he was going to be here, but I think the segment with Raw and everything kind of made sense for that not to happen. But I much enjoyed the Roxanne Punk stuff, and I do think it's a breadcrumb to an eventual return on the main roster to AJ. Possibly. Let's light it up. Appreciate everyone out there listening to us ramble on about NXT. We do this every Tuesday, and we will be live after the Chicago show. We'll be live next Tuesday. We'll be live after the St. Louis show. You were just asking. They really got to, beef up that second week. We forgot. They added Sexy Red.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting 2 mil.
Is she from St. Louis?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But
she's probably from Florida, isn't she?
I think she said she was from North Carolina when she was on. Could be wrong. Where's she from?
From St. Louis, Missouri.
Wow. St. Louis's own.
Fuck.
Sexy red.
That's huge.
Wow, there you go. They're
So sexy, so red.
Yeah. Appreciate everyone out there every Tuesday here on Post Wrestling, the YouTube, and of course the website and all that stuff. But to hear more, search Poison Rana in your social media, in your podcast app. Hit that follow, subscribe. It goes a long way. And check out all the other stuff. We just did a show on Sunday chatting about Def Rebel and all the music and the possible changes that may come to some music, which is good. And some A-dubs. I know tomorrow night, Dynamite, they've announced Ricochet and the Beast Mortis.
The Beast Mortis.
That sounds like it's going to be a banger, so I'm definitely going to watch that. We'll talk about that on Sunday because we'll go live on Sunday for Poison Rana at 2 p.m.
Sounds
Eastern.
like someone's going to outshine Ricochet again.
Absolutely. That guy is amazing.
Yeah.
The Beast Mortis. I just love how he roars. Fucking great. Appreciate everyone listening to that. And of course, our patreon.com/PoisonRana for Best Match Ever Motor City Machine Guns coming out this week. Plus Jason Takes Manhattan, Was Next, and so much more. So check us out if you haven't already. And we appreciate all the love and the listeners out there in the YouTube chat as always.
Yeah.
Can't do it without you.
You can't.
Our NXT friends. That's it. That's all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. We'll see you at the CW. And shout out Medulla Oblongata.
Ahoy!
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.